that, like, just to really talk about the consistency of the underdog, that was really the topic, my conversation topic, because I'm of the opinion that, like, the industry never loved me, or maybe the industry doesn't love anybody. You know, in any space that you get into, where you're about to um, trying to change the normal conversation, no one is gonna love you. So you've got one or two things. You either become mainstream, and that's why they call it mainstream, because it's the mainstream, like main road. Everybody's on that road. Or you either create your own road and you become like the underdog. So you go through the passages. And when you go through the passages, mainstream always go, how far is he? We'll see if he'll get there, you know? So chances are every one of us in this industry, we're trying to prove to everyone that, like, the ideas we have are something that matters and people want to consume it. So before I get into anything about even talking about music and music business and about money, I got to literally bring you back to the beginning. And I'm going to use an analogy, right? So I'm going to use an analogy to get you back to the beginning of music. Interesting story about how music commercially started. If you are sitting at home, and this is the decision that you have to make. If you are sitting at home, because now we live in the cities, other people live in apartments, so people don't even have small gardens, If you are sitting at home and you plant some tomatoes, and you just plant the tomatoes there, and you literally decide to go, yo, I got some tomatoes, so I don't have to go to Woolworths, Checkers, Pick and Pay to go buy tomatoes. I can do it myself, I'm planting the tomatoes. That's literally you just creating because you've got the garden, right? Now take your potential. If you take your potential and you imagine that your potential is the garden, when you create, you write, your potential is the garden. Just remember that your potential is the garden. Now you've got two options. You can take this tomato, you know? damn it, English, You can take this tomato and you can put it in your kitchen and eat it on your own consistently. Alternatively, you can take this tomato and you can go, hey, I've got the garden, let me go sell it. Now, when you sell it, it comes with a lot of things. You got to start considering how much are they going to buy your tomato for in comparison to everyone else that is also selling tomato. You got to consider that the guy who's been selling tomato for a long time literally probably also just planted on his own and then he decided to sell. And there are other people who've got more experience in selling than you do, right? But you, because your garden is small, you still take a lot of care. But the guy who's been selling for a long time, he doesn't take a lot of care because he's already got the people. People come to him to buy. So this analogy is where you are. You are a small garden. You got to decide whether you are just going to make a song because it feels good for yourself, because that's what music does. Just as an FYI, I was just putting it out there. I was telling a friend of mine that I don't know how to play an instrument. So I came in here with a hash 101 star. In other words, I became a star through the hash. And I said that I'm learning how to play the piano because I'm investing in myself in the next 20, 30 years when I can't jump on a microphone and not that I am right now, but I still got the energy right now. But just for one day when I can't jump and do the damn thing, the real thing I care about is music. So I'm learning to play the piano because what stops me from composing when I'm 50 or 55? What stops me from listening to whatever the new genre is, if there's going to be trap and now there's freedom, whatever they're going to call it in the next 20 years? What stops me from having an ear and creating in the next 20 years? So with that being said, though, while I'm doing that, I'm literally like planting the tomato and I'm eating it myself. I'm not planting the tomato and I'm selling it. So you guys got to ask yourself firstly, when you are making music, are you making music, or are you, when you are creating, are you creating so you could just feed your soul? So, everything else in the world, you've got a 9 to 5, you hate it, but the music just frees you. You got to firstly decide what music does for you before you actually go in the market and go, I want to become a music business seller or product or artist or whatever under a label. Because a lot of people are conflicted by the fact that they probably just want to plant the tomato and eat it themselves. But their friends hype them up. Ah, Inja, you're better than Slikour. You're better than so-and-so. They need to be playing you. So now, because of all that pressure, you also feel that, yeah, maybe they should be playing you. But, maybe you don't want to be in the music business. Because, the people that want to be in the music business are not the most talented. The people that want to be in the music business work the hardest. They're the most aggressive. So you got to ask yourself, where do you fit in? And if you are lucky and you do want to get into the mainstream and you do have a manager, and we're going to have a conversation about managers because that's another thing. If you want to have a manager that understands the business and you want to be the creative, in the world there is things like that where you get guys like Scooter Braun who manage our Arian Grant, and that's what they really do. They manage. And the artist is the artist. But we still have a long way to go with that. So the first thing I want to do is that I wanted to use the analogy of the tomato. Before I get deep into this thing, in the back of your head, this conversation will be relevant based on what do you want to do? What are you doing in your garden? And once you know what you're doing in your garden, what value are you putting on that tomato?